Okay, keeping it moving. We have a very talented brother. His name is Renato. He's going to come up here with part 1. Let's give it up for Renato.
Thank you. So I've been composing a long narrative poem about Robin Hood, and in the current section of the book, the first third of it, Robin is about 16 or 17 years old, and it's kind of about how he becomes an outlaw. The current chapter that I'm reciting is chapter 6 of my book. It's called The Midnight Adventure. When we last left our hero, Robin agreed to meet his cousin Geoffrey at midnight and bring him red-colored arms and a horse for a jousting tournament at Nottingham Fair. Meanwhile, Robin's uncle disowned Geoffrey and wants Robin to take his place as heir to Gamewell Manor, though Robin does not know this yet. We pick up the story as Robin prepares to arm his cousin. Chapter 6, The Midnight Adventure. As dinner time drew nearer, Robin saddled up a steed and told the servant Warrington what gear his kin would need. His mother then sent notice that the daylight hours were done and called him in to hear her brother's wishes for her son. This interview perplexed the lad, for somehow Geoffrey guessed the very plan that George contrived to soothe his mind's distress. Though Robin saw the scheme would serve him well if he complied, he answered that he mustn't take what Geoffrey was denied. His uncle answered, "Gamewell would be thine at my demise, to give it to thy cousin's hand, if that would cheer thine eyes. Perhaps his only chance is if thou shouldst obtain my wealth, for otherwise be sure that I'll bestow it somewhere else. Consider that, my boy, but for the moment let us eat." Then Robin went to speak with Will, when dinner was complete. They sought for Warrington and found him in the armory, at work upon the scarlet shield and other weaponry. He told the lads he thought it best if they would stay behind. If Gamewell woke while he was gone, the boys should ease his mind. Then Warrington would bring the arms to Geoffrey late at night, and coming back unseen, be home before the dawn of light. His arguments convinced the boys, who left the man alone. Then, coming to the manor, their arrival there was known. For Gamewell spotted them and said, "To bed, my boys, it's late, and he who learns to slumber early someday rises great." He seemed to take for granted that his nephew, after all, would take his name and be the heir of this most treasured hall. And Warrington foresaw it too, but thought it a disgrace. His loyalty was Geoffrey's, and he wished him not displaced. When Will and Robin reached their chamber, they began to groan. How foul it felt to leave the fun to Warrington alone. Then Robin whispered, "Will, methinks adventure is afoot. I can't fulfill my promise to my kin by staying put. So when the house is sleeping, through my window we shall climb, and clamber to the cobblestones by clinging to the vines." Then Stuteley gave consent, and blowing out their candlelight, the boys awaited anxiously the middle of the night. At last, when all was dark and quiet on the mansion's grounds, the boys were at the lattice and began to clamber down. A starry shimmer lit the sky, but gloomy was the yard, and shadows of the manor forced their eyes to focus hard. The walls were densely hung with swarms of thickly growing vines. With agile limbs, the teenage fellows found the footholds fine. So Robin grasped the plants and hung upon them unafraid. He cautiously descended and took shelter in the shade. As Will made his descent, he started showing off with tricks. But Robin said, "We haven't time, get down from off those bricks." Offended slightly, Will came down, but gave him no retort, and so the two began to cross the mansion's darkened court. And then they climbed some stables, till the dog began to bark. It saw them not, but knew that something lingered in the dark. They stilled themselves until the beast went grumbling to its tree. They crossed the mansion's horseyard next, where moonlight helped them see. That they might not be spotted, hastily they crossed the ground, and coming to its border, leapt behind a grassy mound. The garden in the moonlight bore a grim appearance then. The statues seemed alive and glared unblinking down at them. At last, approaching Geoffrey's hut, they found its door ajar. The shed was vacant. Robin thought, I wonder where they are. The doorway gaped before them like a horrid pit of black, but Robin sauntered right on in with Will upon his track. They felt a draught of chilly air, but nothing met their sight, until an owl descended, screeched, and flew off in the night. And Will alone let out a yelp, though it surprised them both. Then Robin used a tone he only used when he was wroth. He sounded like his father. "Be not foolish, Will," he said. They both became more cautious as they groped about the shed. They scanned the hut for anything that might have news to tell. But suddenly Will tripped and grabbed for Robin as he fell. A trap door opened in the sawdust over which they trod. Then Robin stretched his hand to save himself and grasped a rod. Now Will was loud again, for he was dangling in the pit, while Robin hung upon a ladder going into it. He quickly knew what saved him, and he told it to his friend. They spent a moment breathless, then their fears were at an end. Now Will desired to be the first to go beneath the ground, to reassure his master that his bravery was sound. And Robin let him. Carefully Will took the ladder's rung, and shifted all his weight to it from where his body hung. They both descended down and groped to find the tunnel's wall, and slowly moved within it, till they heard a warning call. "Who goes there?" someone said, and then they saw a lantern light. It chased away the tunnel's gloom and gave them back their sight. But Robin knew the caller's voice, and needn't be observant, for he who held the lamp aloft was Warrington, the servant. "Good heavens, masters!" cried the man. "You gave me such a fright!" Approaching them to see their eyes, he lifted up his light. "Just now I met with Geoffrey, and he has his horse in gear. No doubt he'll win tomorrow's joust, and then return them here." And Robin asked, "Hast thou then brought a charger down that hole? A steed that climbs a ladder must be worth its weight in gold. I dearly would have loved to see so wonderful a sight." "Good grief, my lord," said Warrington, whose laugh was low and light. "I came from yonder, where the tunnel leaves the hill we're on." He used his light to show the way where Geoffrey must have gone. "This hole is one of many hidden tunnels in these lands, but keep it secret, lest it slip from Geoffrey's rightful hands." He said this with significance, that Robin might know well who he considered heir to Gamewell's house and personnel. But Robin's mind was one with his. "Accept my hand," he said. "Most solemnly I'll keep for thee the secret of the shed. Now climb the ladder, Warrington, and I shall give thee aid." This gladdened Warrington. A lasting friendship thus was made. They spoke no more, but silently returned to Gamewell's home, and hoped that no one still awake observed their midnight roam. But lo, one pair of eyes and ears beheld them come and go, for Robin's mother saw them, and her tears began to flow. She speculated much on why her Robin acted so, and wondered if her duty was to let her brother know. Why Geoffrey wanted to be seen in scarlet arms was this: Prince John's rebellion won his zealous heart and iron fist. Though Geoffrey helped it greatly, still the cause was failing fast. But Geoffrey was resolved to be of service to the last. So now he travelled far to rouse what hardy men he could, and came to Nottingham to find the outlaws in the wood. The prince sent word that if they joined him, he'd forgive their crimes, and give them riches from the royal treasury with time. So now he sent a spy to look for Geoffrey at the fair, to learn how Sherwood's outlawed band received him in their lair. But since it seemed too dangerous to meet him undisguised, a pair of color-coded knights were meant to meet his eyes. If they appeared in scarlet arms, the spy would then be sure the bandits were his allies if his rebels went to war. But if the knights were decked in green, the spy would see that too, and know that in the land of Nottingham their friends were few. By this we know why Will of Cloudsley travelled to the fair. He chiefly came to parley with the spy he knew was there. But then came Robin, whose arrival made him flee from sight. So now the spy could only hope he'd see the Scarlet Knight. Thank you. The next chapter is called Treachery in Sherwood, and it'll be a little bit later in this evening, but I look forward to that, so thank you so much.
All right, let's give it up for Renato. I love the way he takes his story and he condenses it and does it in his own way. It's really awesome. Thank you for that. Welcome everybody to the Poet's Passage. Just some quick house rules.